This is the Edson South Field Operations Site-Specific Orientation. Welcome to the Edson District Field Site-Specific Orientation. This orientation is to be completed prior to starting work on-site as it offers important information needed to plan and execute work safely. Getting started. In order to maintain a headcount in the event of emergency, personnel must be signed in to the 14-3 site register, or if going to a field site, you must check in with operations prior to entering a Canlin site. Personnel must check out with operations prior to leaving the site for the day. During this site-specific orientation, please follow along with the checklist provided. Place a check mark next to each orientation topic as it comes up. Leave that checkbox blank if you do not understand something and review with a Canlin representative afterwards. The worker taking the orientation and the Canlin rep must sign off the bottom portion of the sheet. Photocopy the filled out orientation so that each party can retain a copy. This orientation is good for 1 year from completion. Safety tickets required to work outside of the office. A valid online orientation to be completed before coming to site. Create a profile with a valid email address and it takes about half an hour to complete. H2S Alive, WMIS, First Aid, TDG, and any other tickets applicable to the tasks that will be executed while on site, such as fall arrest, confined space, ground disturbance, etc. We require photocopies or emailed scanned copies of these prior to work commencing. Site layout for 14-3 compressor site. Main entrance and primary muster point, office and control room, barrel dock, flare stack, fuel tanks, inlet header and pigging area, K200, K600, K960, and K970 compressors. Muster points at field sites. The main entrance of a site is usually the primary muster point for emergencies at that location. This may change if the wind direction moves potential releases towards that area. This is all to be discussed during the permitting process with operations. Alarms and beacons. The 14-3 compressor site is equipped with an audible alarm, which sounds like an air horn, which signifies process alarms. In general, flashing red beacons indicate H2S, LEL, or fire detection on all Canlin field sites. Immediately leave the area and contact operations prior to site re-entry if this is observed. Permit to work. Permits are used in this area to guide work taking place. They contain vital information about the hazards and controls associated with the actual job to take place and act as a communication tool to all those involved in the task. Permits are to be obtained from operations prior to starting work. Arrange ahead of time with the operations on where to meet for a permit. All hazards applicable to a job must be identified and controlled appropriately. Operations and the performing authority will sign the authorization section when controls are in place. Upon obtaining a permit, a hazard assessment must be performed and documented and signed off by the work party and operator. This information is to be discussed with workers during a toolbox tailgate safety meeting. Hazard reporting. If unexpected hazards or unsafe acts are discovered during work, it is important that they be properly reported to Canlin representatives immediately. This may require that the permit to work be updated with operations. A green card can be filled out to detail the issue at hand and any actions that have been taken or need to be taken to resolve the issue. Incident reporting. Incidents that have or have come close to causing a loss must be reported to operations immediately so as to prevent further harm. This includes injuries, asset damage, near misses, process safety issues, spills, regulatory issues. These events are to be recorded on an incident report form. Information is required so that we can properly investigate what happened and determine how to prevent in the future. First aid. All Canlin employees at the site have first aid training and may be able to assist you in the event of becoming injured. Immediately let operations know if you have been injured, even if it seems minor at the time. The site is equipped with first aid supplies which are located at the entrance of the 14-3 compressor control room, or at the 14-3D high, at the camp kitchen, and in all operator trucks if needed. The site also keeps an AED in the 14-3 compressor site control room entrance. Emergency response. Emergency contact provisions will be planned on all permits. This may include calling an operator on cell phone or radio, calling Edson Gas Control at 780-794-8501 during normal business hours, dialing 911 to activate emergency medical services in the area, or calling the Canlin 24-hour emergency line at 1-866-409-2744. The STAR site number for this area is 4187. Closest medical facility. The Rocky Mountain House Hospital is a 1 hour 30-minute drive from the 14-3 site following the Trunk Road and Highway 11. The following is the minimum PPE required on Canlin sites: fire retardant coveralls, steel-toed boots, hard hat, safety glasses with side coverage, gloves, forehead monitor, and hearing protection when required. WHMIS safety data sheets. Canlin uses a web-based safety data sheet binder accessed with the information shown on the screen. Operations can access these SDS for you, or you can follow the instructions which are posted on the work areas to gain access yourself. Environmental and chemical hazard awareness. Many hazardous substances are used or produced in the Edson operating area, including natural gas, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, benzene, methanol and corrosion inhibitors, produced water, sulfur, naturally occurring radioactive materials, acids, and caustics. It is important that these hazards are controlled during the permitting process. Environmental protection. It is unacceptable to allow hazardous substances to contaminate the environment. Steps must be taken to prevent contaminant releases. Drip trays and containments are located throughout Canlin's facilities and must be used when there is a potential for a spill to occur. At Canlin, we operate with the philosophy of nothing hits the ground. If a spill occurs, contain the source if safe to do so and immediately inform operations. Spill kits are available at the Canlin plant, Canlin D-High, 14-3 compressor station. Driving and vehicle rules. The speed limit within field sites is 10 km per hour. Vehicles are to be backed in while on site. Driving vehicles within 5 meters of gas process requires a hot work permit and may only be done if there are no reasonable alternatives to bringing the vehicle in. Diesel engines must have positive air shutoff to go into these areas. Canlin roads. The speed limit on main roads, non-West Fraser, is 80 km per hour unless otherwise posted. Roads going into leases are usually 60 km per hour. Please obey all traffic rules and drive to the conditions. Keep in mind that driving is one of the most hazardous things we do in our industry. Many of the roads in the area are radio controlled and require a truck radio. Call empty as kilometer marker number increases and loaded as marker number decreases. If markers have an R posted, that means you must call, as this is a reduced visibility section in the road. Sharp corners and bridges have a reduced speed posted. See road frequencies and speed limits noted on the pamphlet provided. General safety resources. Fire extinguishers are usually located at field sites within buildings or in ops or workers' trucks. Eyewash bottles are located throughout the field within buildings. Safety showers are located at the 14-3D high or at the camp. Windsocks are located at each field location. The orientation pamphlet provided contains a map which shows where specific resources are located at the 14-3 compressor site. Ensure you become familiar with where safety resources are located prior to beginning work. General safety precautions. Never override or disable safety-critical equipment without authorization. Hazardous energy sources must always be properly isolated. Work with Canlin operations to ensure hazardous energy sources are identified, isolated, and locked out following Canlin's procedures. No non-CSA certified, non-intrinsically safe electronic devices, including cell phones or cameras, are allowed within operating areas unless controlled under a hot work permit. Working alone. Canlin has a working alone policy which will assist in tracking its own employees. Contractors are expected to follow their own working alone policy and will need to work with operations to discuss how this will be managed. General site information. Washroom locations. Washrooms are located at the 14-3 compressor station and 14-3D high. Porta potties are located at 10-10 and 11-6 compressor sites. Permitted smoking locations. Smoking is permitted only in designated areas where specifically marked. Smokers must go off-lease when there are no designated areas marked. Canlin Life-Saving Rules Review. 1. Do a risk assessment. 2. Follow the permit to work system. 3. Isolate energy sources. 4. Conduct safe lifting operations. 5. Safely enter confined spaces. 6. Work safely at height. 7. Operate vehicles safely. And 8. Conduct safe ground disturbance. Congratulations, you have now completed the orientation. Please ask a Canlin rep if you did not understand any of the topics talked about today. Check off all valid safety tickets that you are bringing and provide a copy to operations to scan. Fill out the bottom of the sheet and sign off, and you are now complete. Thank you.